This is a young group of people, right? I'll tell you what, and I want to thank High Point because it's a great school. Great school. Thank you. Really nice. And the big thing is early voting starts here, October 20th. So ideally you get out and you vote, right? You get out early. Don't wait. November 8th is the big day, but don't wait. October 20th, you start early voting. So if you can, get it in there and then you can just relax. Although on November 8th, you shouldn't relax. You should get all of your friends to vote. You know that, right? Okay. So it's wonderful to be back in North Carolina, an incredible place. We won this in the primaries, as you remember, and it was a big victory. And so I have a warm, warm spot in my heart. That was an important victory. Come November 8th, we're going to win this state, and we're going to win back the White House. It's about time. We're going to win back the White House. And we're going to bring back your jobs, which have been ripped out of our country. We're bringing back your jobs. We're going to cut your taxes massively. And you know, people don't understand, but Hillary Clinton is raising your taxes, very substantial tax increase. So people don't understand that. We're going to renegotiate our disastrous trade deals. We're going to protect our country from radical Islamic terrorism. That one's not even close. Over the weekend, there were Islamic terrorist attacks in Minnesota, New York City, and in New Jersey. These attacks were made possible because of our extremely open immigration system, which fails to properly vet and screen the individuals or families coming into our country. Attack after attack, from 9/11 to San Bernardino to Orlando, we have seen how failure to screen who is entering the United States puts all of our citizens in great danger. So let me state this very, very clearly. And as you know, at least most of you know, I've been saying this for a long time. This didn't just happen like yesterday. Immigration security is national security. Now, I assume she'll be changing this, but you know what's been happening. My opponent has the most open borders policy of anyone ever to seek the office of presidency. It's not even close. As Secretary of State, she allowed thousands of criminal aliens to be released into our communities because their home countries wouldn't take them back. They were too bad. They didn't want them, so we took them. Now Obama wants to bring in, as of 2 days ago, an additional 110,000 refugees. And Hillary wants, I mean, honestly, it's hard to believe. And Hillary wants a 550% increase in Syrian refugees. Altogether, Hillary Clinton's plan would bring in 620,000 refugees in her first term alone, with no effective way to screen or vet them. Her plan would cost $400 billion in terms of lifetime welfare and entitlement costs. This isn't just a matter of terrorism, but also a matter of quality of life. And many of you are just starting off on this incredible journey. And it is about quality of life. And it's about safety. It's about safety. It's very important. Have to have a safe country. We want to make sure we are only admitting people into our country who love our country. My highest duty as president is to protect our citizens and to uphold the Constitution of the United States. I will honor that duty to the fullest extent every single day, and I will never waver in that sacred obligation. It's just a plain fact that our current immigration system makes no real attempt to determine the views of the people entering our country. We have no idea who they are, what they think. Since 9/11, hundreds of immigrants and their children have been implicated in terrorism and terrorist-related activity within the United States. Now we learned that another 858 immigrants, this is just the other day, from dangerous countries have slipped into our country and been granted citizenship despite the fact that they were supposed to be deported. They probably pressed the wrong button on a computer. So they were supposed to be deported, and they were given citizenship. Welcome to America. Oh, we're going to build a wall. We're going to build. We're going to build a wall. We're going to build the wall. We're going to build the wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall 100%. 100%. But the over 800 people really had nothing to do with the wall. You know, they had to do with a lot of other things. And it's a very, very sad. Can you imagine? We made them citizens, and they were getting ready for deportation. So either something was very wrong or they pressed the wrong button on a computer. But either way, can't have it. Altogether, there are nearly 1 million individuals in the United States with deportation orders who have not yet been removed. In the 20th century, the United States defeated fascism, Nazism, and communism. Now we must defeat radical Islamic terrorism. Yet my opponent won't even say the words radical Islamic terror. In fact, Hillary Clinton talks tougher about my supporters than she does about Islamic terrorists. She calls the patriotic Americans who support our campaign, many of them cops and soldiers, deplorable and irredeemable. Has she ever talked that way about radical Islam or about those who oppose and murder women and gays overseas? No. Has Hillary Clinton ever called people who support these practices deplorable or irredeemable? No. In many countries overseas, non-believers face the death penalty. Whether it's Hillary's condemnation, I mean, where is it? Where is her condemnation of these people? Where is her condemnation of these countries? Let's ask Hillary how many people who subscribe to radical Islamic views and support the oppression of non-believers would you call deplorable or irredeemable? That's a terrible word that hasn't been reported, but that was a word that she used. Are those words reserved only for hardworking Americans that truly, truly support us and truly love our country? It seems that way. America can never elect a president like Hillary Clinton, who apparently, with her choice of words, thinks that the decent American citizens are a bigger threat than radical Islam. Can't do this. Anyone who cannot name our enemy is not fit to lead this country. Remember. And if you can't name your enemy, you don't know what the problem is. And if you don't know what the problem is, you're never going to fix the problem. Anyone who cannot condemn the hatred, oppression, and violence of radical Islam lacks the moral clarity to serve as our president. The commander-in-chief of this nation must speak with moral clarity and conviction. Our system of government is the best in the world. And as your president, I will defend our values and speak out against those who assault our values in any way, shape, or form. Right? It's also time to remember one very important word: accountability. All this disaster with ISIS happened on Hillary Clinton's watch. Happened with her. Her bad judgment, her bad decision-making, her policies in Iraq and Libya and Syria are responsible for the rise of ISIS. Her attacks on me are all meant to deflect from her record of unleashing this monstrous evil upon us. You ever notice all she does is attack me constantly? Attack, attack. Everyone says you should never, if you're successful, never run for political office. But that's the kind of person you need. Hate to tell you that, that's what we need. But they've always said, all of my life, I've heard if you're successful, never run for political office. But it's time. We have to bring our country back. We have to make our country great again. We have to do something because it's not working right now the way it is. Her timetable, and it's, you know, this is so true. Her timetable and withdrawal from Iraq, her push for regime change in Libya and Syria, her open border policies, these are the actions that unleashed the ISIS disaster. So she will say and do anything to distract from that record of total failure. And let's see how much she changes her policies over the next couple of days. Because she's been for open borders, she's from people pouring in from Syria, she's from all of these things. I think it's getting very hard for anybody that's rational or even sane. If you look at it, I mean, how can people believe this way? How can they do that? How can people believe this when they see what's happening all over the world? Look at Germany. Look at what happened to Merkel in the recent election. Look at what's going on. We have to use common sense. We have to be smart. We have to be tough. We have to be vigilant. Her claim that my opposition to radical Islamic terrorism is a recruiting tool. So what? How does that have to do with, I'm being tough. Why is that a recruiting? I'm much tougher than her on this horrible situation. But she goes around saying it's a recruiting tool. You know, somebody gave her that from Madison Avenue. You know what, Madison? That's advertising. They gave her that they said, let's call it a recruiting tool. But why? Because I'm tough? It's a recruiting tool? It demonstrates a level of ignorance about the terror threat that really is disqualifying for a person seeking the presidency. When she says my opposition to radical Islamic terror provides aid and comfort to the enemy, we know that Hillary Clinton has once again demonstrated that she's really unfit for office. Her comments are not only reckless, but beneath the dignity of the office that she seeks. ISIS is torturing, murdering, executing, and exterminating people in a campaign of genocide. And what is Hillary Clinton suggesting? What is she suggesting? You know what she said. Let's let more people come in. That we should censor our vocabulary so as not to upset these butchers. I have news for Hillary. Refusing to call out radical Islam will not lessen the danger. It will only increase and embolden the danger, just like we have seen during her disastrous and failed term as Secretary of State. It emboldens them. Just like Iran is emboldened. You look at Iran, they're emboldened. They made this deal, and instead of becoming our friend, it looks to me like it's gotten worse. The rise of ISIS is Hillary Clinton's foreign policy legacy. One of them, many others that are not good. Secretary Clinton has helped to topple regimes, displace millions, and then open the door to ISIS potentially to enter this country. Now, you think of this, it's a disaster. So how is this policy a smart policy? Clinton's decisions overseas have left us with the threat we face today, and her immigration policies will invite this threat onto our shores as sure as you are there in front of me, standing, watching. That's going to happen right onto our shores. It's happening. We must stop the massive inflow of refugees, which Hillary Clinton is trying to drastically increase. Now, she may change her mind because this is what's been happening for a long time, but it's getting harder and harder because how are you electable when you have policies like that? We should temporarily suspend immigration entirely from regions where safe and adequate screening, and I mean extreme vetting, cannot occur. right? Pew polling shows that in many of the countries from which we draw large numbers of immigrants, extreme views about religion, such as the death penalty for those who leave the faith, are commonplace. The death penalty. It's the job, and really, of government to admit those, and only those, who we expect to succeed and to flourish here and become part of our incredible country and home. Hillary Clinton disagrees with this common sense rule, and it's one more reason why she will not win the election on November 8th. It's time to break with the corruption, the bad judgment, and the failures of the past. It's time to have a new American future. We are going to change our immigration system to reflect American values. We're going to stop the policy of regime change overseas and instead focus on working with our allies on a military campaign to utterly destroy ISIS and defeat Islamic terrorism. This will not only require military warfare, but also financial warfare, cyber warfare, and ideological warfare. But to win this struggle, we need to be strong at home. We're going to rebuild our country. Our infrastructure is a disaster. Our country is a mess with $20 trillion in debt. Think of it, $20 trillion. At the center of the effort will be, in fact, the rebuilding of our inner cities. Nearly 4 in 10 African-American children live in poverty, including 45% of African-American children under the age of 6. Think of that. 58% of African-American youth are not working. Violent crime rose in America's 50 largest cities last year. It went through the roof. Homicides are up nearly 50% in Washington, D.C., and more than 60% in Baltimore. More than 3,000 people have been shot in Chicago since January. Think of that, since January, 3,000 people. That's like worse than the war-torn nations that you're looking at. That's worse than Afghanistan. The schools are failing. The jobs are leaving, and millions are trapped in poverty. So to the African-American community, I say, vote for Donald Trump. I will fix it. I will fix it. I will bring back your jobs, I will fix your schools, and I will fight for your safety. You'll be safe. It's time for new civil rights agendas, and one that promises safe communities, great education, and a good paying job. Now, I say this, and I say this all the time. What do you have to lose? Your education is broken. Your communities are unsafe. There are no jobs. It's been run by Democrats for sometimes up to 100 years unbroken. What do you have to lose? I will fix it. My whole life, so true. So true. They've really let you down. They ask for your vote. You give them your vote year after year. You give them your vote. Then in the presidential, at least, and in every other one, but in the presidential, they say, hey, see you, man. See you in 4 years. That's what they do. They say, see you in 4 years. We'll be back. And then they come back and they promise you things and nothing happens. And you vote. So it's time to change. What do you have to lose? I will fix it. Remember that. My whole life has been about creating jobs. Thousands and thousands of jobs. Hillary Clinton has spent her career destroying jobs. Just look at upstate New York and her terrible trade deals. Hillary supported NAFTA. She supported China's entrance into the World Trade Organization, a disaster. And she supported the job-killing deal with South Korea that helped make them a fortune, and us, we lost jobs, we lost factory, we lost money. The South Korean deal was supposed to create 70,000 jobs. Instead, we lost 100,000 jobs, and our trade deficit with South Korea has more than doubled. These are the deals we make. Next, Hillary Clinton wants to approve the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That deal will be a disaster for North Carolina, for every state. Your state has lost more than 4 in 10 manufacturing jobs since NAFTA, signed by her husband. I'm going to renegotiate this disastrous deal, and if we don't get the deal we want, we'll walk away and we'll start all over again. Our trade deficit with the world is nearly $800 billion a year. Think of that, $800 billion. You almost say, who's negotiating these deals? We have a trade deficit worldwide of almost $800 billion. This is really the economic legacy of Hillary Clinton. Now, 4 more years of Obama, 4 more years of Clinton, you can't do it. You can't do it. People aren't going to take it. But we're going to turn it all around. My economic agenda can be summed up in 3 very beautiful words: jobs, jobs, jobs. I'm going to get rid of massive, absolutely massive amounts of unnecessary regulations. And your tax cuts are going to be so happy. You're going to be so happy when you bring all that money home. Big tax cuts. She'll raise taxes, I'm lowering taxes. That's a big difference. I'm going to repeal and I'm going to replace Obamacare, which has turned out to be an economic disaster for families. I'm going to create American energy independence. I'm going to make our government lean, responsible, and efficient. I'm going to fix our terrible trade deals and defend the American worker. I'm going to rebuild our depleted military and take care of our great veterans. And I'm going to appoint justices to the Supreme Court who will follow the Constitution of the United States. We will rebuild our roads, our bridges, our tunnels, highways, airports, schools, and hospitals. American cars will travel the roads. American planes will soar the skies. And American ships will again patrol the seas. And it's about time. American steel will send new look, you know all about skyscrapers, right? Anybody going to be an architect? Anybody going to be a developer? Any developers? Any young developers? Oh, 1, 2. He's already a developer. American steel will send those new skyscrapers into the clouds. American hands will rebuild this nation, and American energy, harvested from American sources, will power our nation. American workers will be hired to do the job. We will put new American steel into the spine of this country. I will fight for every neglected part of our nation, every single part of this great nation. And I will fight to bring us together as one American people. Imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people under one God, saluting one flag. It's time to break with the bitter failures of the past and to embrace a new, inclusive prosperity and the American future, because that's what it's going to be. New factories are going to come rushing in. They're going to come rushing in. You wait till you see what happens. We will incentivize people to stay, and they will be decentivized if they leave our country. They're not going to just come out, fire all our people, build product outside of the country, and sell it into our country so easily. It's going to be a whole different ballgame. And now they'll say, you know what? I think we're not leaving. That's what's going to happen. Once more, we will have a government of, by, and for the people. We will make America wealthy again. And save your Social Security, which you people are a long ways away. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. God bless you. God bless you, and thank you. Thank you. Get out and vote November 8th. Get out and vote. And October 20th. Thank you, everybody.